it's Trivium time.
I've been looking forward to this.
So if you're new here, it's been on record for a while now that I am not the biggest Trivium fan in the world. However, that is slowly starting to change thanks to you guys. So yes, I've been giving you guys the opportunity to get me into this band via submitting song requests for me to react to. And so far, this is turning out to be a lot of fun and a huge learning experience for me. So the last song reaction we did was The Sin and the Sentence from the album The Sin and the Sentence, and that song absolutely blew me away. And it's been really hard after such a strong start to the album to not continue plowing my way through the tracks. I've really done my best to hold off because I know you guys want me to listen to this song that we're going to react to today, which is Beyond Oblivion. And what can I say? You guys have really hyped this song up, so I'm really looking forward to digging into this one with you all. So, this is Trivium, this is one of your most requested songs, and this is Beyond Oblivion. Wow. Okay, so they're taking no prisoners on this one, hey, and it sounds to me like they're kind of going for the whole, higher fret, single note kind of riff at this point. So let's take a look. So to me, from the get-go, it sounds like they're kind of going for the whole Phrygian vibe. The last song was more of like a natural minor song in all its parts and components for the most part, I guess. But this one, you can kind of hear that. You can kind of hear that flat second coming in from the Phrygian mode, and it's not actually all on one string. It's kind of got this, which is quite interesting to me because, again, each mode has its own sort of strong tendency tones within that really get the point across, if you like. So when you're dealing with the Phrygian mode, you're thinking flat second, just to make things sound dark and evil. But the riff comes in on the minor six. And the minor six has got a real sense of urgency about it when played against the root. And again, it is like sort of like a pedal point riff in the sense that we're constantly going back to that low six string or seventh string in this guy's case. So that's really contextualizing the tendency tones of the Phrygian mode, if you like. And the good old Phrygian mode, it's the tried and tested heavy metal scale. It's one of quite a few. But yeah, it's cool because they've really gone all out on the notes that make that scale sound so urgent, and it's got an anxiety about it. The minor six. And it's got the perfect fifth in there as well, which you guys know is a power chord, right? So that's something familiar, which kind of like grounds it amongst all these sort of dissonant notes, if you like. So minor six, perfect fifth, a little bit more familiar, and then dark territory with the flat second there. So something like that. I'd have to spend more time with it, but yeah, really cool, strong riff to carry on the ferociousness that this album's come in with. Good old left and right guitar split. Oh, what can I say? Anything that does that. Anything that does that kind of stop-start kind of syncopated rhythm, I'm in. There's a million things happening at once here, so it's hard to digest everything. I like the way it sort of went down a little bit, but you had the low register of like the toms and the drums. And the bass sort of like carrying that section with the atmosphere. Nice bit of clean singing from Heafy as well, which by this point, he's feeling a lot more confident. We talked about that in the last video. You can hear the confidence in the delivery again on this album. And you guys have said, just from talking to a few Trivium fans and some of my clients as well, that this is where Trivium really started to find these 3 albums, starting with this one, this is where Trivium started to really sort of like find their feet, despite the fact that they've got lots of other good albums. But yeah, sounding good so far. And I'm pretty sure I can hear a major third in there on the right. Let me listen to that again. Yeah, right there. So that, again, adding the major third in there, usually, the major third would make for happy music when played with its other intervals and stuff. But when you're mixing an idea in there, like the minor second, and then you play the minor third after it, what you end up with is something called the Phrygian dominant scale, okay, rather than just the standard Phrygian. And that's what makes it sound so sort of dark and Eastern, if you like. Yeah, very, very cool. I'm down with that. And it's a nice little melodic fill between all the stop-start notes at that point. So yeah, this is really cool. It's using a lot of the techniques that I've, or songwriting techniques, I should say, that I grew up learning about from my other bands. So it's cool to hear Trivium carrying on with all the elements that make heavy metal what it is. That's that classic Trivium sound. So we're back in minor natural now. Great, really good. Now back into the red. Loved that scream, that yo! You really hear him pushing there, but yeah, what can I say? I'm slowly starting to get Heafy and come round to his vocals. So that little quiet section there, again, it's just going back to the whole minor second idea. We've had it at the top of the neck. Okay, so why not do it at the bottom to bring everything down? And I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct, he's going up to the major third there. I could be wrong, but you guys have heard this already. This is the whole what's that song from Ascendancy that everybody loves? You know the one I'm talking about. Is it the first track on there? When it comes out of that really fast gallopy riff, everything sort of goes down a little bit, and it's the same idea, taking it into that, root to minor second. So they're using techniques that they were using way back on Ascendancy, which is cool. There it is right there. So again, he's going up to that minor third, and that, when clashed with the minor second, that's what makes for that Phrygian dominant sound. They're the key ingredients to make that mode shine. And you can learn all about that mode over on my Patreon page, my quick lesson series. That whole thing with the octaves is so Trivium to me at this point, if I may say so, as a sort of new fan. Am I a fan yet? Am I a fan? Am I classed as a Trivium fan at this point? You guys decide at this point. That whole minor natural thing with a counterpoint octaves weaving in and out of one another, with no rhythm guitars. You know, that's the classic Trivium sound to me, amongst many other things as well. Okay. Hang on a minute. We've key changed. Right there, we've key changed to whatever the heck that string is tuned to. A in standard tuning, right? So that chorus works so well because it's the all tried and tested. I really need to put heavier strings on this for intonation purposes. So sorry if my chords sound a little bit out of tune, tuned down this low. But yeah, it's the good old tried and tested chorus, that, right? You know, that's your Green Day right there. You know, if you want to write a hit, you know, in a catchy chorus that everybody's going to sing along to, you use that progression. One of a few, but that's one of the main ones right there. So that's why it works. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Back down. Okay, so let's talk about how they can get away with that. And I will do my very best in the limited time we have. How are they going back and forth between this idea of E Phrygian and an A minor natural or A Aeolian? So the way that works is, you know, if we're in the key of A minor, okay, for argument's sake, if we were tuned standard, by the time that you've reached the E note, the mode when you count up to your E note, the mode that sits there over the E is the Phrygian mode, okay? And you can get away with playing a bit of Phrygian dominant there too if you want to go that way. But you know, that's where the Phrygian mode lives. So basically they're staying in the same key, technically, but they're just kind of playing around with what root note sits on top of the notes that are happening in between, to quote Kirk Hammett, all right? So that's why the transition between keys, so to speak, works so effortlessly. So it's kind of like a clever way of doing a key change, if you like. The key to understanding modes is it's all the same 7 notes running round and round and round, but it's the root note that sits on top of those notes that dictates how everything sounds, okay? So when he's playing off of the A, you know, everything's going to sound minor natural, okay? But when he pedals off of the E, and in this key, E is Phrygian, that's when everything's going to start to sound dark, okay? And so the power is in the root note above the rest of the notes that are being played, if you like. And that's why it's so seamless, and that's why it works so well. Another great example of this being done would be Arms of Sorrow by Killswitch Engage. So if you go and check that song out, you'll pretty much hear exactly the same technique being used and positionally as well on the fretboard. I hope you're all enjoying this Trivium reaction, and just while we're here, I want to take a quick moment to mention my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library, which is over on my Patreon page. If you've fallen prey to bad Bullet for My Valentine tabs in the past and there's a little bit of confusion there and you want to learn their songs properly, head over to my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library, which is over on my Patreon page. This is my ever-growing series of Bullet for My Valentine guitar lessons where I break down all their songs and teach you all the guitar parts. Members of the library can also request what songs I do, so if you head on over there and you don't see the song you want to learn, get yourself signed up, put your request in and you'll get full priority on what I do. The lessons are also available for one-off purchase on my Patreon shop too, so you can just buy the lessons outright if that's what you want rather than signing up monthly. Members also get access to the isolated stems for each song that I do, so that's guitars, bass, drums, and vocals, as well as access to my quick lesson series, which are more just general guitar lessons where I share my love of guitar theory and other things. So yeah, this is 100% the best way that you can support me and what I do, other than hitting like and subscribe, of course. So if you want some bullet for my Valentine guitar lessons, which are in-depth and as accurate as I can possibly get them, head over to my Patreon page and see what's over there. Okay, I'm going to back it up a little bit here.
Beyond oblivion, beyond oblivion, beyond oblivion, beyond oblivion.
Oh, that's cool. It's very Randy Rhoads. Diary of a Madman right there. Well, if only I had the extra string to be able to give that riff a go, hey? But I'm hearing sort of like high open strings, like being played on top of the chords there before he starts going into the single note. Okay. Love that. Very good. Alright, hang on. Wow. Incredible guitar solo from Corey, I believe. I like Trivium guitar solos because Corey is very tasteful. He doesn't just, make noise, if you like, and there's a time and a place for that, but everything sounds very composed and thought out with Corey. You can hear how he's, again, using the tendency tones within each mode that he's going for, or each scale that he's going for when he's playing. He's really aiming for those notes that have got the color and texture within them in order to convey the emotion. But also the licks themselves, he doesn't just bolster through them at a million miles an hour. He knows when to make a note sit, rather than just a constant barrage of notes, which to me is just kind of, it's rather disorientating, especially over such a epic piece of music and an epic chord structure that's going on. And then I liked at the end how he kicked on his eventide guitar tone that we talked about in the last video, I think, which is kind of like his little secret weapon when it comes to guitar solos. Makes everything sound super wide and a little bit 80s, if you like. But I'm just going to back up and just see if there's anything else I can pick up on. I think it's very important to take in everything that the song has to offer rather than just going, okay, next section. I want to listen to this properly and see what I can take in. So let's backtrack a bit. So we're sticking in the whole idea of sticking in A now. But we've actually shifted to like a harmonic minor idea, okay? So it's like a minor natural scale, but it's got the raised seventh in there. So, wow. They've made use of like 3 modes within one song. Incredible songwriting right there. And, the overarching theme of that is just because they're going through different modes and things like that. They're all minor modes, right? So they've all got that same sort of like minor thing going on with them, and a lot of them have shared intervals, perfect fourths, perfect fifths and stuff like that, so you can get away with playing with the notes a little bit. So take that into account with your own writing. Just because this riff sounds good using this mode right here, it doesn't mean that you can't experiment with other intervals, right? And what I'm hearing there is just good old harmonic minor scale right there. And that's, You know, as soon as I said Diary of a Madman, you know, Randy Rhoads, that was one of the biggest gifts that he gave us, implementing sort of like classical scales, like the harmonics minor scale in heavier music. These guys are really sort of whether or not Randy was, well, I don't care who you are, actually. And I will make this statement. If you enjoy playing metal guitar, you are influenced by Randy Rhoads, whether you like it or not. He is he did so much for metal music. And this, just the way this riff moves, it's so unusual. Not just with its note choice, but the overarching rhythms and stuff like that. This is straight up like Diary of a Madman sort of stuff right here. So it's very cool to hear the influence. So now they've key changed again, and we've gone up to B minor now. Okay, and straight off the bat, just to keep things sounding urgent and heavy, I guess, they're utilizing the flat second again. Like a B Phrygian idea. So what a dynamic song. It's really, really good, really clever. So, sitting on the minor second. There's the lift on the major third. Okay, that's why it sort of elevates at that point. And then landing on the perfect fourth at the end of it. Very cool. Must be a lot of fun to solo over it if you've got the technical ability, which Corey certainly has. And he's sort of locked in with the motif at the da 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 da, you know, which was really cool. Lots of use of octave chords as well, which is always fun to see. Takes the pressure off of you as a guitar player. If you're constantly going for lots of notes and stuff like that, going into a nice sort of like octave lead sometimes gives you a break with your picking and your fast playing and stuff like that. So yeah, and it's effective and melodic as well, and that's the important thing. Corey's solos are melodic. They don't lose the listener. The music is already complex as it is. You can lose a listener, you know, by putting over-the-top stuff in there. This is a perfect balance of everything this band's learned.
Beyond oblivion.
And now we're back in Ephraim. What can I say? And back into the riff. Wow, that's how'd that end? Yeah, just landed on a good old E2F. And again, that's a 5-minute, 16-second song, and I think the Sin and the Sentence, actually, it's there. Yeah, 5 minutes and 50. Okay, so a bit longer. These two songs don't feel that long. As I was watching the time thing along the bottom going along, I was like thinking to myself, flipping heck, if you said enough for the reaction video, are you going to get enough out of this one? Which obviously there was with all those key changes and stuff and choruses and vocals and stuff like that. Everything was, I hate to use the expression, but on point. This band really seems to have mastered the idea of making 5-minute songs, which, you know, today, people just want like 3-minute, 50 sort of songs. That sort of 3 minutes to the 4-minute idea, you know, simple format, you know, so as to not lose the listener. However, these guys have, on this album it seems anyway, have found the knack of still making those 5-minute plus songs, but putting no unnecessary fat on the songs. There's no adage, there's nothing in that song was unnecessary. Each section flowed into the next. You know, nothing sort of took me by surprise, or it didn't feel like something was just like going on and on and on, or, you know, it was just throwing parts in for the sake of it. So they've mastered the deception, really, of making a bit of a longer song, but making it feel like a standard sort of 3-minute 40 single, you know? So that's another song I get to listen to, finally. Because ever since I heard the Sin in the Sentence the other week, I've been like, right, I need to hear more of that. This is Trivium really, really doing what they do and doing it best, I feel. So God only knows where they'll go on the next album, which is what we're going to be moving on to next, which is What the Dead Men Say, I think. What the Dead Man Says. What the Dead Men Say, I think it's called. So I want to hear from you guys below and tell me what song I should react to and listen to and pick apart in the same fashion off of that album. I want to get through some of Dead Men, and I want to get through some of Court of the Dragon, because I know new Trivium music is going to be coming soon, and I want to be up to date on you know, and had a taste of everything they've done, which at this point I sort of have. As I've been making my way through the album. By no means does that mean I am done. We can always go back. We can go back to Shogun. We can go back to, oh god, what else is there? Dare I say Ascendancy, but I am kind of done with that album because I have heard a lot of it. But, you know, some of you guys want me to listen to some of the stuff on the Crusade. You know, so we can 100% go back, and I would implore you guys not to get views or anything, but well, that helps as well. But you know, I would suggest you guys go back through my other reaction videos that I've done for Trivium, so you can make a solid choice on what songs you want to see me do down the line. So yeah, go ahead, knock yourselves out. Stick them down in the comments down below, which song from What the Dead Men Say you want me to react to, because I've literally got no clue about that album. I don't know any of the names. You know, there's certain names and stuff that I've seen floating around: Beyond Oblivion, Sin in the Sentence, Caustic of the Ties that Bind. You know, I was sort of aware of these titles and stuff before I started doing this. But with that album, it's all going to be fresh and new. And like I said, we can come back to this album, so please don't panic. Although I really, really want to hear Betrayer. Am I allowed to listen to that in my own time, or do I have to do it with you guys? Let me know. So there you go, guys. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to hit the like button if you did, and subscribe if you're new here. If you want to support this channel and what I do, be sure to check out my Patreon page and see what's over there. Or if you want one-to-one guitar lessons via Zoom, be sure to drop me a message on Instagram. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.